Hello, my friends. Assalamu alaikum. The question for today is how to keep our souls healthy. My friends, as we know that we are actually souls, body is merely our carrier in this world. So today we will focus on those points which will help us in nurturing a healthy soul. So let's begin, my friends. A healthy soul is the one which is aligned with its natural qualities of peace, love, purity, and happiness. When we keep these qualities intact and remove negative influences like anger, greed, or attachment with material things, the soul thrives. My friends, now let's look at those things which we need to do to keep our souls healthy. Number 1, daily spiritual activity. My friends, any spiritual activity such as prayers, especially early in the morning, is a way to connect with God. This connection nourishes or recharges the soul. My friends, now let's look at a couple of verses from Quran in this regard. First verse is from chapter 29, verse 45, translation. Indeed, prayer prohibits immorality and wrongdoing, and the remembrance of Allah is greater. Another verse, this is from chapter 11, verse 114. It states, and establish prayer at the two ends of the day and at the approach of the night. Indeed, good deeds do away with misdeeds. Point number 2, that is, maintaining positive and pure thinking. My friends, it is important that we create positive, compassionate, and forgiving thoughts. When our thoughts are aligned with virtues, we keep the soul clean and healthy. Now let's look at a couple of verses from Quran which emphasize this idea. Number 1, this is from chapter 42, verse 30. Allah says, and whatever strikes you of disaster, it is for what your hands have earned, but He pardons much. Another verse, this is from chapter 3, verse 134. And who restrain anger, and who pardon the people, and Allah loves the doers of good. My friends, these verses encourage us to think positively and refrain from negative thoughts and trust in Allah's wisdom. Point number 3, forgiveness and letting go of past hurts. My friends, holding on to grudges or past hurts drain the soul's energy. We need to forgive others and ourselves, understanding that each soul is on its own journey. My friends, this act of forgiveness frees the soul from the burden of negative energy. Now let's look at a couple of verses from Quran in this regard. The first verse is from chapter 7, verse 199. It states, show forgiveness, enjoin what is good, and turn away from the ignorant. The second verse is from chapter 24, verse 22. It states, the well-to-do and rich among you should not fail to give to relatives, the destitute, and emigrants for the cause of Allah. Be considerate and forgiving. Do you not want God to forgive you? God is all forgiving and all merciful. My friends, forgiveness is one of the noble traits encouraged by the Quran. It is seen as a way to cleanse oneself of negativity. Point number 4. Self-respect and self-care. My friends, true soul health also comes from respecting oneself and nurturing self-worth. One should treat oneself with kindness, just as we treat our cherished friends. How? By speaking positively about oneself and making time for self-reflection and growth. Now let's see a couple of verses from Quran in this regard. The first verse is from chapter 2, verse 195. It states, "And do not throw yourselves into destruction with your own hands, and do good. Indeed, Allah loves the doers of good." The second verse is from chapter 59, verse 9. "And whoever is protected from the stinginess of his soul, it is those who will be the successful." My friends, the Quran speaks about the importance of respecting oneself and not wronging oneself through actions that compromise inner peace and integrity. Point number 5. Service and compassion. My friends, we should engage in selfless service because acts of kindness uplift both the giver and receiver. Service helps the soul experience joy and a sense of purpose, which nourishes it deeply. Now let's look at a couple of verses from Quran in this regard. The first verse is from chapter 76, verses 8 to 9. It states, "And they give food in spite of love for it to the needy, the orphan, and the captive, saying, 'We only feed you for Allah's sake. We desire from you neither reward nor thanks.'" The second verse is from chapter 93, verses 9 and 10. They state, "So as for the orphan, do not oppress him, and as for the one who asks, do not repel him." Point number 6. Lifestyle of discipline and purity. My friends, this includes eating pure food, cooked with a calm mind and positive intentions, leading a disciplined life, and avoiding negative influences. For example, living as a soul-conscious person, abstaining from substance use, and being mindful of media consumption. Now let's see what Quran says in this regard. The first verse is from chapter 2, verse 172. It states, "O you who have believed, eat from the good things which we have provided for you, and be grateful to Allah." The next verse is from chapter 2, verse number 5. "And those who are guided by their Lord, they will be successful." The third verse is from chapter 17, verse 36. "Do not follow that of which you have no knowledge." My friends, discipline, self-control, and leading a pure life are values the Quran consistently emphasizes for both physical and spiritual well-being. Point number 7. My friends, daily study of the Quran is the best spiritual diet for the soul. In addition, reading or listening to uplifting spiritual teachings daily reinforces the soul's strength and ability to face life's challenges with stability and resilience. Let's see what Quran tells us in this regard. The first verse is from chapter 17, verse number 9. It states, "Indeed, this Quran guides to that which is most suitable and gives good tidings to the believers who do righteous deeds, that they will have a great reward." The second verse is from chapter 29, verse 45. It states, "Recite, O Muhammad, what has been revealed to you of the book, and establish prayer. Indeed, prayer prohibits immorality and wrongdoing." My friends, the Quran itself is a source of constant guidance, and its study is seen as a means to increase one's faith and resilience. My friends, in closing, I would like to say that in essence, nurturing the soul is about connecting with God, removing negative influences, and staying aligned with a higher purpose. My friends, through prayers, positive thinking, and acts of kindness, we nourish and protect our soul's well-being, bringing peace and fulfillment. Thank you for listening to this talk, my friends. Hope to see you again soon. Assalamu alaikum.